Hello, Minnesota. Welcome back to the Tony Hernandez Show. I'm your host, Tony Hernandez. It's looks like a beautiful day out here in Minnesota. I went out this morning, didn't wear a jacket because I looked outside. It was sunny and blue sky, and I thought it was going to be about 50, 60 degrees. And the second I stepped outside, I just froze. It was like 20 degrees. So I don't know. I'm just hoping that spring is right around the corner. But we thank you for joining us today. We have a great show. We have Minnesota State House candidate Abdi Malik Asghar, and he's going to be talking about his candidacy for the Minnesota State House of Representatives. And later, we're going to be bringing on Sam Wayne Pierce, our East Coast correspondent, and we're going to be talking about a lot of the current events and big stories that are happening right now. We're going to talk about the missing Malaysian jet. We're going to be talking about conflict in Crimea with Russia and Putin. We're also going to talk about some of the local stories that are going on here in Minnesota. So with that, I want to bring on our first guest, Abdi Malik Asghar.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Tony Hernandez Show.
Thank you, Tony. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. And you're running for the Minnesota State House of Representatives?
That's correct.
What made you want to run for the State House?
Well, basically, definitely after I look at the area, I used to live in Minnesota for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And the area that we get disconnected from the state representative, and we look for the community that needs, and I said we can improve. The only way we can improve the community is to represent. And the only way to represent is to become a candidate and run. Mm-hmm. And that is number one. And then number two is to show them a role model to our community for the younger generations. As you know, that a lot of some Somalis, they lost for the younger people. And some of them, they go back to Somalia. So we said, why are we doing that? Because they don't have a role model that they can see working hard, come to refugee in the United States, go to school, working hard, raise the children, and now wanted to represent the district. Mm-hmm. So I was volunteering for 16 years at the community, within the Somali community, at the television, as you're doing that. Mm. And then I said that I want to do further, and this is a time that I want to help them, the whole district and the whole Minnesota. Mm-hmm. It's a time to pay back. I go to school for financial aid, so I said this is the time I want to work for the Minnesotan people.
Great. And can you talk a little more? Minnesota has a big, strong, vibrant Somali American community.
That's correct.
How many Somalis live in the Twin Cities area? Do you have an idea?
When we're looking for the data, sometimes it's not reflecting to the communities, because a lot of people's, the perception they have when the census come is we don't want to go to region. Why they count to us? We have a driver license. If they want it, they know we are here, kind of like that. So a lot of them, they're not registered on that. But so I guess we're probably saying that 100,000 Somalis live in Minnesota general. But in Twin City area, we might be 40 or 45,000.
Wow. And can you talk about your district then? You're running for the State House of Representatives.
District 60B.
District 60B. And what is the geography, or where exactly is that in
exactly the two things popular in our district. One is the heart of the University of Minnesota.
Okay.
So, and that's one part. The second part is the Riverside, the center of the Somali communities. Those two, everybody, when you say that, I'm running for District 60B, where's located, and see the Riverside, and say, okay. The second one is the University of Minnesota, and the Dinkintown, Seven Corner, all this area, Mississippi River, that's island. So that's the hardcore of that. And if you look the data, it's like 39,000 people live there. Majority, 80% is a Caucasian, and 6,000, 20% is the other minority communities.
How many college students or college voters will there be?
In 2012, the data, 12,000 people vote, the presidential time. 88,000 they vote for the DFL, 4,000 vote for GOP. So in this year, it's going to be a different story, and we'll get reflect on that. So we need 8,000 to vote for GOP, 4,000 for DFL.
Sounds good.
Yep.
And who is the incumbent right now?
The seat now has Phyllis Khan. She's a very highly educated woman. She working for a long time our district, 42 years.
She's been a state house representative for 42
almost
years?
42 years.
Wow.
Almost, yes. We do respect her, and we're like to ready to debate. If you look, the reason only some people they say, okay, if she is smart, if she is well respected in our district, and then what's making difference between you and her? That's a legitimate question. If you look at the committee that Phyllis Khan in at the state representative, it's like environmental, e-cigarettes, those committee is not reflecting to the community that live in our district. For example, Phyllis Khan, she's not in a committee member for education. She's not a member committee for housing. She's not a member of committee for health. Those that our children live in our district need, our performance, our children are very low. We need to increase. We need somebody there to be a member of that committee that can advocate for them, can bring them more resources to the district. Student is in University of Minnesota, the tuition always goes high. We need somebody saying that we need a low tuition for the students so they can afford. We need a housing for the elders and the citizens and the low-income families, Section 8 and subsidized. At the same time, also the University of Minnesota students always they get a loan to pay for rent. We need also a system that helps them. So we need somebody in that committee. Phyllis Khan, she's not in that committee. We do respect her. She's highly educated. The secondly is for health. Healthcare, a lot of people, they don't have healthcare. A lot of students, they might quit because they may get sick and they not go to the colleges. So we need somebody in the health committee member so they can represent the community in general. And the third is the housing. A lot of housing. We need the housing for subsidized or Section 8s or to help the communities, or maybe the reflecting in our communities, because a lot of buildings and now new buildings come into our area.
You said something that I found pretty interesting about Representative Khan. I was listening to the Jack and Ben radio show last week, and she was on the show as a guest. She called in, but the issue they were talking about was e-cigarettes. So they have a debate there, I think every Wednesday morning.
Right.
You know, the e-cigarettes are the vapor, you know, that people are using, and it's actually successful for helping people to cut back on taking in the real smoke. And there's a debate as to whether or not this should be allowed in public places, like workplace, indoors. What are your feeling? Do you have an official position on the e-cigarettes?
The number one I see the priority is the business people. Because a lot of businesses, they're complaining about that they're losing businesses when they say that people are not smoking inside or they're not smoking. If you're traveling internationally, you may see that the airport, they designate a place that people can smoke inside the airport because we are not discriminate to the people. So that is what we need in our district also. We don't want to hurt the business and say that people cannot smoke inside the business. But we need to designate a place that people can smoke. And that's what is missing for Phyllis Khan's agenda.
And there was some controversy, actually. Your particular district made national news on caucus night. So there was the caucus in your district on the Democratic side. And Representative Khan, and she has a challenger this year, is that right?
Right.
And who is that gentleman that's running again?
The gentleman is from Somalia, and his name is Mahmoud Noor. So the challenge was in Republican side, in my party, was in 2012, they promote and they bring on the table, every person has a photo ID when they go on to the polling places. The DFL, unfortunately, they said no. However, in this, when they see the problem comes in a prime call center, the DFL, they said, oh, this time we need an ID. So our GLB, our Republican Party side, was right when they saying that we need, everybody has a driver license, everybody has a photo ID. What's wrong with that when everybody show up and bring his ID? And the DFL said no. But this time they say yes. So which one are they right? Are they right in when they say no, or this time they say it's right? So that is what they mix in our interest and examples that we've taken for that.
That's interesting, yeah. And this particular caucus, just so the viewing audience knows, was on caucus night, early February, and what happened is Representative Khan has a challenger for the endorsement for that House district. And there was a violent eruption at the caucus. Can you tell them a little more about what happened?
Well, I think it was not that big fighting at that time, but the way I hear that, but there was an argument. And the reason why, because it's a 43 delegates in the DFL side supposed to come to Bryan Cole, but it comes like more than 400 people. So it's which one is representing which one is becoming delegates. So that is starting, and the arguments, and then the talking, and then it happened, and then the police come, and then they close that place. Then the DFL, they moved to another place in University of Minnesota, and they rented 4 buses, because the DFL, they said we spending money. So it wouldn't happen that if it was ID, because the people was 400, where they coming from? Maybe they live in Eden Prairie, maybe they live in a different place. But if the first time they saying that we need an ID and accepting the Republican Party agenda, then it wouldn't happen, because when they say University of Minnesota, they hold in the next time, they said everybody has ID, and there's no problem. So we can solve the problem always before it happen. But as my colleagues in DFL, is they wait until the problem come.
And what is your prediction? Is Representative Khan, did she get the endorsement, and is there going to be a primary challenge for that?
I think it's not yet. In April 5, it's when the time we will know which one get endorsements. It's 276 delegates, I hear that. So we will wait on that. So both of them, they're waiting for good news. So, and we will see which one will come. I'm ready for debate with them.
Do you have a preference? Would you rather run against Representative Khan, or?
Doesn't matter. If Phyllis Khan come, we respect them, and then I will debate to her. If Mahmoud Noor come, and then I will respect to her. And it's the first time. What makes the only difference a little bit is Mahmoud Noor, if it comes, it's the first time 2 Somalis representing 2 different parties come in and debate. That's all makes history.
Sure. Well, hey, Dallas, if we can pop in Abdi's his website here and show it on the screen for people. You can see his website here, and we encourage everyone who's watching the show to check out the website. I read your story. You got different issues here, down below. Some great things. You can also find out if you wanted to either volunteer for the campaign or you could donate to his campaign. It's really a great website. And you said that you have another one coming around the corner too,
yes,
right?
Coming one I did is called a Vote for Asker. It's launching on Monday.
Okay. And I want to talk about your history.
That's no
I
problem.
I read your story
Sure,
on your website, and I sat down on my living room couch and had a cup of coffee, and I read it, and me and my wife, and it's a pretty compelling story that you have. So you were born in Somalia.
Right, Tony. It's not easy to come in Minnesota, all the way down from Somalia.
Do you have snow in Somalia?
No, we don't have that. And so I born in Mogadishu, capital city, in Mogadishu. And my dad and I, when Civil War broke up, every person go different directions.
So when did the Civil War?
In 1991.
Okay.
We crossed, and then for us, luckily, for those who come to cross the border to Kenya, which is a neighboring Somalia. And then I lived there for almost 1 year and 8 months as a refugee status. So we lost everything we have, houses and cars and everything. And then we started a refugee camp, small tent that we live. But luckily, we got an opportunity to resettlement in California. So we were 44 families got an opportunity to resettle in San Diego. It's a big city, San Diego. And then we started in ESL. And then we catching a bus for the work 8 hours, and then at the same time learning English. Then we said 7 hours we lost there, and we said it's not going to work. We need some places very smaller than that. So to Somali Kenyan, because Somalia, they live in Somali Kenyan, and Somali Ethiopian, Somali Djibouti, and the Somali. So the Somali, they divided, colonized. To Somali Kenyan live in Marshall, Minnesota. At that time, they said, hey guys, you can come in Marshall, Minnesota, and you can work more hours. That hours you lost is 7 hours for bus, you can get it for overtime, and then you can make more money. So our goal was to come Marshall, Minnesota, work, save money, buy a car, and go back beautiful beach in California. But it didn't happen. We ended up in 20 years in Minnesota.
That happens. Once people come here, sometimes they stay here for
because
life.
It's in Minnesota nice. Minnesota people, they welcome them more friendly, and they welcome us very nicely. In 1993, the all television was, all the Bush was visit in Somalia because it's starvation. So the news and everywhere, and they said, oh, these people are okay, and they welcome us in Marshall, Minnesota. And then we worked there, and we said we need to move on. We bought cars, and then I said, let's do that. I started ESL at Southwest State University at Marshall, Minnesota. And then I said, I want to do a better job. It was a factory, Headland factory. It's a turkey cutting, and I said, let's do better than. And I work in a graveyard shift, what they call that. It's a midnight shift. So I moved on and founded another job, which is a Windham, Minnesota, a Toro company, and we work in Lamboy, cutting the grasses, which is a little bit better than cutting meat, and a little bit pay, $7 a quarter. And then work a couple months there, and then they lay off July every employee for 2 months. And we said, hey, how are we going to stay? How are we going to live? How are we going to pay bills? Then we go back to Marshall, Minnesota, or we do, and then we adventure to Minneapolis. We come to Minneapolis downtown, and then we work in a Dolphin temporary, and we rented a small studio at the Dinkytown. That's where I'm running today for 20 years.
So you've lived in Dinkytown
in
for 20 years?
Dinkytown, some friends, they welcome to us at the Dinkytown. Because they used to go to University of Minnesota as a student, but they come in scholarship. They are not like us to come as refugee. They come in a scholarship, so they welcome to us in a Dinkytown in 20 years. So, and then we live temporary. Then we rented downtown at the 5th Avenue for small studios. And then we started from there. And then I work at Hilton Hotel. I started a dishwasher, and then I worked janitorial, and then I get married, and then I go to school at KRS Computer and Business School, because that time I loved the computers.
Do you still?
I graduated that school, and then I said I want to go to farther, University of Minnesota, and they said, oh, we're not accepting for this transfer for this college you graduate, KRS. What happened? They said, oh, we're not accepting the credit, and then I started all over again to go to Normandale Community College. Then graduate Normandale Community College. But what I learned KRS, it helped me because I get a job. I work at Mission, and I work at Kodak at Oakdale, and then I work when
That's
I graduate.
where our producer Dallas works.
Yeah, when I graduate at over there, when I graduate at Normandale Community College, and I'm working over there, then I go to Riverside University, Wisconsin River Falls, computer science. When I close to graduated, then I get laid off from my Mission. Then I go back to Seagate, working with steel computers. Then I get an opportunity to graduate at St. Mary's, to transfer. And then I take my master. I said, I don't like computers. I like to talk to people. I like to work with people. You know, not in IT no more. I work in 7 years, so I get tired. So then my master, I changed it to project management. That's when I get an opportunity to work at the MNSCU, Minnesota State College University. I become a director for minorities, Metro Alliance, for 11 colleges and 1 university. So I drive in a lot of colleges to help them and recruit and retention for minority students, whether it's Hmong or it's Latinos. And another project on top of that, which is called non-traditional students, for the Somali girl or the Latino girl to become a firefighter, instead to become a doctor. So I worked 3 years and a half of that project, and then it was a grant, federal grants, and it ended up. And then I initiated after that a charter school, North Minneapolis, working with a very great leader. His name is Eric Mahmoud. He has a Harvest network. So we persuaded to him to extend it. Mainly they focus in African American. So I said, let's extend it to Somali communities. And then we initiated for 2009, and with success for that school launching, and 230 students attended that school. And then last year, Lincoln International High School, which is mainly focusing also immigrants, they assigned me as an interim principal. So I was leading 1 year. And then after that, when they settle everything, they move, then the transition they finish, then I go back to where the school for that I initiated 2009. So I'm just assistant director over there at the Best Academy. And so I'm in the field of students. I'm a St. Mary's student learning for EDD, my doctorate of education. Almost I've done all the classes. And I want to hope one day to call in Dr. Asker, as well as a Representative Asker.
What an inspiring story that you have. You and I have some similar characteristics in that I come from a large family. I'm the oldest
Right.
of 7, but you come from a much bigger family than that.
Right. Oh, absolutely. We have a large family, 8 brothers and sisters, and my dad adopted 5 children additional, and he raised all those children. So my dad-
13.
13 brothers and sisters now.
And
We
when
come
you
all
guys-
in
did
United
you,
States, all of them we come United States, and then we all raising children. So total we have like 78 children. The oldest one is now
How many?
21. 76 children.
Wow.
So, almost. So, and for all of them, they live in Minnesota, except a couple of them now moved California, Ohio.
So they did move to the warmer. Some of them
Exactly.
moved to
Some
the
of
warmer
them-
weather.
Some
Then.
of them, yes, move in California. That's where we come from, and they say, "Hey, let's go back." Some of them.
So when you left Somalia and went to Kenya
Right.
and then to San Diego,
San
did the whole family, all 15 of you, travel together?
No, luckily, my mom go to different direction when my dad go different direction. So our children divided, and then when we come to Kenya, some of them they come to Kenya, some of them still in Somalia, and then when we come to here, then my mom and some of the children we sponsor to them, and they come to Kenya. Then they come to 1996. So we come 1992, they come 1996.
One thing about your story I find very interesting and I admire about you is you've had so many different types of jobs. And it's also, my grandfather was part of an immigrant family from Mexico, and they kind of made a migration from Texas to Oklahoma, and they eventually ended up to Minnesota, probably for some of the same reasons that you did, job opportunities and slightly lower cost of living and good people around here. You know, we face still in the Latino community a lot of criticism from the media, from different types of leaders who say that people come to this country to get free stuff or to come for the welfare or the health care. And it doesn't sound like that's the case at all in yours. And can you address some of those stereotypes, though, that people may have either about immigrants in general or stereotypes that people may have to Somali Americans?
It's only the difference is because when you travel or you cross your countries and go to different countries, you learn about the different people. When I cross into Kenya, they have a different religion than me. They have a Christian. So it's the first time I saw have a people a different religion in 1992. And then I saw first time was people different but different language speaking with same color black, but we're different religion and we're different languages. And I saw also at the same time some people still have a Muslim religion but they speaking different language, and we come to the mosque in the same time in Kenya. So when people traveling they see more, but otherwise the other people they may take your perception. I remember that in 1993 when I was was working at Dolphin, some people they saying that, hey guys, you've been here 6 months and you bought a car, that means you don't pay tax. You know, immigrants, they don't pay tax. And then I showed them and I said, hey, this is what the tax. The difference is we only 4 or 5 of us collected the money and we buy each person one. Every month we work one person and then that person buy a car. The next month the other person we pay back to him. That's we cut in our expenses and to looking for a cheap place to live, cut in our food to gain something. So that is the leveling and perception is all the time happen, you know. But it is, and also our side we have also perceptions. Well, the funny story was when we were in South Marshall, Minnesota, Marshall, Minnesota, Southwest State University. I'd like to share with you a story. What happened is, you know, the font drinking water. One of our friend went there and he doesn't know how to push the button, and then he tried to get the water and the water didn't come out. And then he step out, and then another Caucasian person come, and then he push it, and the Caucasian person, the water was come to him. And then he said, oh. And then he wait, another person come, he get the water. He go back and wait, the water is not coming. And then he said, and then he mad and upset, and then he walk and then come to us to cafeteria and said, you know what, I get discrimination. I said, what discrimination you got? He said, the water I'm not getting. You know, the white students, they getting water, but I'm not getting. So, and then we walk with him, and he said, okay, try to get him. And then he go there and say, look, not coming, but wait. And then we go out and wait. 3 students come, Caucasian, and then they drink it. See, some person watching for me. When I go there, and I'm not getting the water. but he's giving to other people. You know, so unless, and he said, I have a complaint. You know, I want to complain to them, this is discrimination, this is what happened, you know, but finally, just button, you know, to push the button and the water come. So that's a perception. There's a perception. It won't never go away. Perception and biases, it never go away. And the bias is only if I know you, you give me a favor. Then the other person you don't know. Even it doesn't matter, the color, or it doesn't matter the tribe. So the bias is, and the discrimination, and also the perception, it won't ever go away. The people still have, but it's to minimize. You know, and to minimize is justice. To tell the truth, this is what happened, this is what I'm going to do, and to make a fairness for the people.
That's a really good story. So you're making history here in Minnesota. You're the first Somali American endorsed by the Minnesota Republican Party.
Right, I'm glad to.
And how did you, you know, you said you haven't always been a political type person, is that right? Or have you always had an interest in?
Yeah, I've never run in politics in America. This is my first time I'm running, but I tried to run one time to Somalia, and it didn't work.
Oh, really?
Yes, and it didn't work. I tried, but it's a different culture that I grow up, because I grow up half here and half there, so that's sometimes I say, hey, what's going to work here? And what's going to work that is not working? What you learn here is not maybe working over there. So the reason why I'm running a Republican, it's very simple. We're sharing in a common values in our community and the way I grow up. We grow up a family values. My dad was married my mom, and then we have a children, and the way we raise the children. That is one common we believe marriage is a man and woman, and we stuck on that. That is the what we believe is, and that is what we will tell our children. The second thing we believe is about everybody has its own religion, freedom of religion. Everybody has to exercise its own religion. We believe on that. And you see sometimes the way I see that the DFL, my friend side, they run away from the religion. So the Republicans, majority, they believe a religion. No matter different religion we have, because some of them, they critique us, our religion and Muslim, that's fine. But as long as they accept us that we have a religion and we follow the religion, that is what to close. The third thing is what I like in the Republicans is, as soon as I go to the schools and I'm working in schools, they value about the school choice, which is absolutely the parent has a right or choice, and they understand their children better, so they can send their children whatever they wanted to send. That is what I like to them. Not to district and say that, oh, no, this is your home address, you have to stay. No, if I know that school is better, it's located in Prairie, I want to send in my child. And I need, if I cannot have money, I can ask people support. I can ask government support. But I want to get my son better education. So that is what the third thing is that I believe and I support for the GOP. And we have same values. So those three things are very strong: education, family values, and religion.
One of the negative stereotypes of the Republican Party that Democrats like to say is that the Republican Party is the party of the rich white guy. There's also accusations that the Republican Party is racist. I don't believe that any of these are true, but this is what you hear from the opponents and from other people.
So it's very simple. If they think that the party is rich, if the party is, I'm not rich, and I get endorsement in the Republican Party. So that is very simple. So they can see the model that I'm representing for Republican Party, and I'm not a rich.
Have you felt any? Have you felt pretty welcomed by the party then, and by the party leaders?
Oh, absolutely. I got Keith Downey, a very great guy. He welcomed me. He congratulated me, and he even come to Somali party. We have celebration in a convention center. He spoke to the Somali community, and also he chose to send the party. Now the headquarters of the party, it is our district. It's a Franklin and 22. So that means our party now care about the minority people. That is one of the we showing that we care about the different people. And now our slogan is very simple. It's a party for all. You know, instead of they saying that party is rich. No, I'm here. I'm not rich. That means this party has belongs to everybody that shares common values. That is all is to it. So we would like to work with them, the other parties. We would like to bring everybody in America, and we would like to represent them.
And what are your plans for the summer? I mean, you have a campaign. How many days? We're about 8 months away or so from November. What are your plans for the summer? What's your strategy for going out there and meeting the people and introducing yourself?
Well, that's a good question. As you know that in our district, the majority, we don't have a lot of houses. 40% houses, 60% in high rises. So we're planning to communicate all the high rises to get a permission to knock in the doors and to meet with the people. My goal is I'm not sending flyers. I want to talk to the people personally, to talk to them, to the business people, to talk to them in schools and visiting the schools, meet them with the university students, the colleges, get more advices. I'm a brand new one, so I'm listening. That's the only way. I'm not saying that, oh, I've been doing that long time, or I know what you guys talking about. No, I'm fresh. My mind is open, so I'm waiting for everybody for help. Elders, younger, a woman, every community, every organization. We have a lot of mosques in our district. We have a lot of churches in our district. I would like to visit them, talk to them, and everyone sees this idea. I know some people, they might against me, they might throw me some different questions. I have to accept them. I have to accept them. No, some people like me, some people don't like me, but I want to represent all of them. And the leadership is to bring those people and lead them.
And what about if somebody asks you a question that you don't know?
I would say I don't know. That's what I learned in America. You know, the Somali culture, we say that I know everything.
Well, there's some here that say that.
But in America, it's very easy. We will say that I don't know. That makes us easy. You say, hey, I don't know. Even sometimes if you do not know correctly, I'll say I don't know. But I will learn. And I will say I'm learnable. That's why I'm going all the schools. And I'm not a perfect person. I'm just a human. I will do mistakes. But I will learn as well. I'm a human being, a refugee. I don't have a lot of culture background here, but I'll learn. That's the most important things. Yeah.
Well, great. Well, I'll give you the last 30 seconds or 2 minutes if you want to make talk to the people and let them know how to get a hold of you. How can they help you? If you have any events that are coming up here.
Yes, one event is coming next Saturday, like same time today at 4 o'clock. 4 to 6 is the first events that we did after the endorsement. We invite everybody to come on that event. Please show up. It's located, very simple address. It's a Lake Street and Cedar. If you're familiar with the Minneapolis, it's a 3015 Lake Street.
So 3015 Lake Street.
Cedar.
Oh, Cedar. 3015 Cedar.
Cedar, but it's a cross section between the lake and Cedar.
And then what is the event again?
It's the first time that the endorsement that I'll tell the Somali communities, I get the endorsement. It is a time that we are ready to campaign until November. The volunteers will come, the people supporting me will come. So I need a lot of people to show up that and support me and helping me or to welcome me about the success we have. I'm the first Somali get endorsement in the Republican Party, and I hope I will win for this race. It is a long time Republican win for this race in the 42 years almost, but I think we will make in history. I believe in God, and God knows who will win, but I will ask them, everybody, I will try my best and I will work hard to win this race and to make in history. I already make one history. I'm the first one. The second one, I'll make the first Somali who will be the representative for the state representative, and the first Republican 42-year seat. Get it.
Well, I wish you the best on your journey, Abdi, and I really
Tony.
appreciate you taking the time to come on the show and introducing yourself
Thank you, Tony.
to our audience here. And again, I wish you the
Tony.
best.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much,
Thanks
sir.
for inviting me.
That's Abdi Asghar. He's running for the Minnesota State House of Representatives. That's District 60 or 61B, and that's in Minneapolis. We definitely encourage everybody to go out there, go to his website, learn more about him. He got a great story. I was just thoroughly impressed with everything that he shared with us, his perspective. And I'm just really encouraged when I hear about people who immigrate to this country like my grandfather's family did, to work hard, to improve themselves, and then to get to a point where they've made it, and then they're willing to go out there and serve the people and try to make the lives better for the families and the communities in the area. So, Abdi, we thank you for coming on the show.